Hello and welcome to Lee Stafford Education Online Masterclass Live. I'm Lee Stafford again, and I'm going to be your host today, or one of your hosts. We've got a very special staff here. I know that you've all met him before. He is a multi-award winning hairdresser, multi-award winning salon owner. He's got multiple salons. He's an educator for Joico globally. And just recently, he's become a real YouTube star sensation. He's already up to 3 million views, is it, Paul?
Yeah,
3 million views,
just past that, yeah.
30,000 subscribers. So Paul really, as well as doing a lot of stuff, you know, in the traditional sort of realm of hairdressing, salons and stage work and private education, Paul is really venturing out into that sort of new age of hairdressing, which is all about doing hair online. So without further ado, please let me introduce Paul Watts.
Oh, other way.
Oh yeah, other way. There we go.
Hello everybody, how are we doing? Thank you, Lee, for the intro. As always, they're always good. Always good to
well deserved.
Get a little refresh of what's been going on. So yeah, I'll just say a quick hello. Lee said everything, to be honest. I'm a salon owner, salon stylist, behind the chair 5 days a week when I can be. But yeah, travel all over the place. So I do a lot of education, a lot of online education as well with Lee. We did one this month. This is my second this month. So we did a one length below with a really cool fringe last time. So if you enjoyed that, let me know. And today I'm going to do a twist, but it's a bit of a twist on the long grad, my favorite Lee Stafford recipe. And it's something that I do a lot in salon, and I just change tiny little aspects of it to give me a different look. So all my clients, when they're wanting like just that perfect layers, or they want a little bit of dishevelment or anything, just this long grad recipe is something which can be manipulated and twisted and pulled to give you something completely different. And today it's a tiny twist, and it gives you something which is bang on trend right now. The mannequin head is behind me, and let me know. I want to see with emojis or a word, but an emoji of a wolf. So if you're joining us today, put an emoji of a wolf in the chat, and if not, just type wolf, because who's heard of wolf cut? So the wolf cut is a huge TikTok sensation haircut. It's something which has traveled through the decades. People seen it in sort of like the 70s, 80s, a bit rocker. And then there's loads of different terms for it. Like people are saying it's just basically a shag, or it's just basically a long grab because of the amount of texture in there. And I've basically today, rather than us blunt cut it, all I've done is going to introduce you to point cutting each section, but still very disciplined and still very neat sectioning patterns. But when we're working on that section, instead of cutting like that, we're going to cut in like that. And that's going to give us that dishevelment, the texture that the wolf cut holds a lot of. And it's also, we're going to go a little bit shorter, so we maintain a lot of the weight through here and through the top. I see the first wolf. Thank you, Jamie Lee. So yeah, in the chat, guys, just let us know where you're from. I can see we've got Laura from Chichester, we've got Jamie Lee from Chichester, we've got Bon from Chichester. Hello, Chichester. Is any other college in here? Just let us know in the chat. I'd love to see who is here. So it's something I do say. Chichester was my first college that I actually visited when I was starting off with Lee, and we started in 2014. I joined Lee. I met Lee in 2013 to start working on the recipes, but then 2014 was my first time in Chichester, and I think I did the one length below. I think I got through into the deep end on my first day, and Lee just said, "Just do it." So I did a little aspect of it, and it's something that really helps you grow as well. And these recipes are something that have really helped me as a hairdresser, being an established stylist for years before that, and then joining Lee Stafford Education and seeing a much more, not a different approach, but a much more fundamental technical approach than what I was used to at college. And it's something that you guys have got firsthand. At college, you're going to be doing these recipes, which are based around Sassoon-esque and precision and everything like that. Whereas there's a lot of things where when I was at college, I said this last time about the bob, I learned 3 different types of bob before I could cut a bob. But with this omelette analogy, it's something that you will get to master. So I'm just going to introduce you to my models, and I'm going to show you what today's look looks like. I'm going to get straight into it.
Paul, before you show us all,
Yeah.
you are showing us. It's great. I mean, I'm still a bit unsure. So the wolf, how? Because I've heard that terminology just recently. I've got my niece staying with me who's 15, and she was saying she wanted a wolf cut, right? And I was like, "What is a wolf cut? What? How different is it to the shag, or is it a different terminology?"
Well, it's basically trend led. But the thing is, the shag, you've got a much more sort of squarer, you've got texture running a little bit stronger throughout. So you're keeping the density at the bottom as well with a shag. You've got all that texture working all the way through here with the shag. And then you sort of marry it with a mullet. And then that's where you start to lose this length here. And then you keep the strength down the back, don't you, with a mullet?
Yeah.
So then the reason it come in as a wolf cut is because I did a video on this yesterday. It was on my YouTube channel. If you're new, Paul Watts Hair, it's why wolf cut. And I sort of at the end of the video talk about why is it called wolf cut, because there's a lot of things that people are sort of throwing out there. And someone said it's because it looks like a wolf's mane, you know, where you've got all that sort of thickness of coat and then it tapers down the spine.
Yes.
So I'll show you it now. So with it here, you can see you've got all that density all through here, and then it just tapers out through the edges. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But a shag, have I got a shag? I don't know if I've got a shag. I've got a messy shag up there, but it's not dressed.
Right.
But yeah, a wolf cut is basically, here's the mullet-esque to it that we lose. We lose that sort of length through here, through the face. So you've got a bit more texture all running through here. And then if you can imagine a wolf's mane, where you've got the sort of coat that comes out and then it tapers down the spine of the wolf.
Gotcha.
Apparently, that is where the term come from. But somebody told me the other day there was a movie in the 80s or 70s, and the main character was called Wolf, and he had this sort of rocker haircut.
Right.
So it can come from that. And then I threw my own in there yesterday in the video. I said, do you remember Wolf from the Gladiators?
Yeah.
Yeah. He sort of got that curly hair and all that sort of thing. Right. So I just threw that out there. But
to be fair, it brings the shag up to date.
It does, yeah.
It was a terminology that was used in the 70s, which is quite cool for a while, but then you want to bring it right up into the 21st century, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's where what happened. Like these sort of TikTokers or influencers or something, they've adapted something. They've seen this shag haircut and they've seen these mullets that are everywhere. And the wolf haircut, I don't know if it comes from Japan or something like that, because a lot of it. Have you seen Squid Game? Yeah. Yeah, so Squid Game, it's like a shorter version. You've got it like that, and it's all that texture through there. You lose that around the face. And I don't know if it comes from there, if it originated from there, but the wolf cut is something which is huge. I've done multiple videos on it, different sort of ways of cutting it, because all we're basically wanting to do with a wolf cut is keep a lot of the fullness through here, and then we want it to taper out. So basically, the wolf cut is probably a little bit longer on top than what a shag would be. Would you say that or not? Yeah. Well, yes. But you've got to make sure that you're keeping. So the square, the shag would probably be a bit more like the uniform layer cut. So you're keeping that strength all the way throughout. Whereas with this, we're over directing to maintain length, but because we're going shorter today up into here, we're bringing it up. So then we're losing a lot more length through here. Yeah, gotcha. Which then creates that real sort of softness, and you can see the translucency there. You've got all that. You've lost all that weight in there. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, that's today's look, the wolf cut. But it's based. I wanted to bring you it because the LSE recipes, when we mash them all together, I do it daily in the salon. We can create anything at all. And if we take it shorter, longer, that's it. If we point cut it, if we blunt cut it, we're just creating these different looks and bespoke for your client by using the recipes. Yeah. And this one was cut. I put my fingers on the bridge of the nose, So then just below it, you can see that's just on the tip of the nose, that bit of hair there. And that's what created that. And then everything was brought up, elevated 45 degrees, cut, but point cut. And then again, brought up 45 degrees, cut.
So like a classic short grad, long grad, sorry.
Classic, absolute classic. But instead of blunt cutting it like we teach, I've gone in point cut just to show the guys that what you can create, and that's what it's created. It's created that texture in there, softness, without having to do too much chipping in once we're finished.
Gotcha.
And then this mannequin here, I showed this last time because this was the fringe that I used. This is a long grad, just a shorter version.
Lovely colour, that.
Yeah, Sex on the Beach is what this was inspired by.
What, the drink?
Yeah, the cocktail, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so again, that was a little bit longer. So you can see where that's sitting there. So I probably put my fingers on the point of her nose, use that guide, elevate it up, and then we've got that shape. So if you look at that, that could probably be a bit more of a shag because you're maintaining that sort of fullness throughout.
Yeah, gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? And if you look at that side by side, we lose the density. Whereas we've kept it in there and we've lost it there.
Yeah.
And all that is, guys, is just by going a little bit shorter. So this was cut on the tip of the nose, and this one was cut on the bridge of the nose. And look at the different looks you get.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to do a shout out to all the other colleges that are not watching right now, because there are a lot of colleges, a lot of students that watch these masterclasses after they've been done. Sorry. So later in the week, either at college or at home in your own time. So if you're not watching it live, great to see you all, or you to see us, or both.
Yeah, and put a comment below if you're watching this after it's live. Put a comment down below so we can see who is watching.
Absolutely.
Right, should we make a start? And yeah, guys, as well, questions. Just throw questions, because I know the wolf cut is something that clients are going to be asking for a lot. It's something that you'll progress into the salon life, and if you're level 3 and working in the salon already, the wolf cut is no doubt a haircut which is coming up as a topic of interest and something clients are going to be asking for. If not now, definitely next year.
Who would have the wolf cuts? Would you consider having the wolf cut on yourself?
Yeah.
Or is there someone that you think would suit the wolf cut that you know? Let us know with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Right.
So let's jump into the haircut, and we can just chat along the way. Throw your questions in, as we've said, and we're gonna touch on some topics as well today. So if you have an experience of the topics, let us know. But if there's any questions you want to know, salon life, social media, anything like that, you can throw it at us.
Absolutely. No such thing as a silly question, guys.
So standard sectioning pattern, we've got the center part in there, and then you can see we found the high point of the head, and we'll work down to just behind the back of the ear. This is all sectioned out of the way, and then to the back of the ear again. And this is our standard long grad recipe. And what we first do is we find a guide, and the guide that I used there was the bridge of the nose, that part of your nose on there that sort of dents in a little bit, just there. And it's quite a nice place just to rest your finger in, because it gives you like a little bit of stability as well. Let's get scissors ready. But you can all see, guys, as well. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pull these sides out. And one thing as well, which I think is amazing about the LSE recipes and for discipline, is your bumps. I know these are a real sort of bane of your life when you first start, but there's something that adds that sort of polish and finesse to your section pattern. I mean, look how clean that looks. It's something that really changes the way that clients interpret you instantly as a stylist. Because one thing I always think about, and I don't really think about other salons and what they do, it's not on my radar. But what I do think is the experience of a client. And when they first come to us, I think about what experience they would have had previously. And I do know probably about 90% of clients won't have had their hair sectioned out so precisely when they come to you for a haircut. Because I know salon floor life is really quick and really intense sometimes, but once you get the hang of this, it's super quick to do, and it's something that just polishes off your sectioning pattern, makes your client really feel at ease straight away. Because if you're putting in a really neat and clean sectioning pattern, they're just going to be thinking, oh my God, my haircut is going to be absolutely blinding. Because if he takes all that time in putting in that sectioning, what's he going to do with my haircut? Would you agree?
Paul, tell me this. So what are the downsides to not doing your pre-sectioning so clean?
You don't know where you're going. So the reason we do this is like a GPS as well. You know exactly. So now I've just clipped that out of the way. I know I want to take that part of that triangle to begin with. So I'm really nice and clean. I know that that point of that hair, that's where I want to take it. If I'd have just put it up, well, if I'd have just sectioned through with my clip like this and clip that out of the way, look at how sort of that, it's not a clean section, and it sort of curves off at the back. So if I was sort of curving that around, I could potentially have an unbalanced haircut. So the pro of pre-sectioning is that you know exactly where you're going, as well as people looking at it and thinking it's like a work of art to me.
So have your haircuts improved since you have been doing your pre-sections really cleanly?
Oh, dramatically. I mean, if you check out my YouTube channel, you can see it all. When we've started in lockdown, Lee, and I was putting all that time and everything into my, I mean, this is recently. So this is lockdown last March. So what, nearly 2 years ago now. I just really wanted to just nail every haircut, but precisely. I wanted to get everything worked out so that I knew I'd be quicker, I'd be more efficient for when I get back into the salon, which is one thing why I did really want to work on sectioning and cutting and really trying to look for ways just to speed up. And the quickest way to speed up is by putting in your pre-sectioning really nice and cleanly.
So is it a case of that where tortoising the hair? If you take a bit of time, section it off in the beginning, you're going to be quicker at the end.
Absolutely.
I've got a question here from Jamie Lee Curtis. How did you get started in hair, Paul?
Well, yeah, this comes up
I
a lot.
can tell this story.
Yeah. So getting started in hair, I was right at the beginning of trying to figure out where I wanted to go. I was telling the client this because she was telling me about her son wanting to go off to university and didn't, and that. I went to university, but before all of this, at school, I went to my careers advisor, and I said, I want to go into a salon. I want to see what it's like. And he just thought I wanted to go because of girls. So he put me in a physiotherapy for 2 weeks, center for 2 weeks. And it's something that I didn't want to do. But there was always this creativeness about me. I didn't find myself creative at all. I was a bit of a lad. I was a footballer, and I couldn't really find where I fit until I seen Lee on TV. And he had a TV show called The Hairdresser. And he's a lad. Like, that was it. I could see how I could relate finally.
Yeah.
And so I was like, right. I went off to university, but I'd get home in time to watch The Hairdresser on Sky Living. And I was doing creative design with marketing, and they were giving me briefs of like 6 months. But whereas I wanted a brief instantly, and I wanted to create something instantly and then be like, there you go, there's the finished result. And they said, no, that's not how designers work. So I was like, well, that's how I work. And I was thinking, what could I do? And I was watching Lee on TV, and I was doing this thing at university, and I was like, I'm going to be a hairdresser. So that thing that instantly attracted me was that the whole thing around about giving me a brief that would take longer than what, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in the salon, that just wasn't the way that my mind worked. The way that I worked was I was given a brief. I could look at it and be like, right, I think this shape would look good. I think this color would look good. And then Lee being on TV, being that I could see myself relating to Lee in a sense of the persona and that, I was like, right, I'm going to go and do it. And that's
so tell me this, Paul. How long have you been doing hair for now?
15 years.
And has there been times during your career where you thought, no, I can't do this? I'm going to give up?
At college, definitely. At college, definitely. It was I didn't get it. I did not get. I would have people in the college. I'd say, oh, but this lady over here, she wants this color, 6N. And they're like, well, what level is she? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what do I mix up? There's 10 volt, 20 volt, 30 volt, 40 volt. I didn't have a clue. So I would use these women who were on my course to mix my colors. And there was a point where I was like, I can't do this. This is just too. I just wanted to create shapes and make people look good and feel good. I didn't expect all of this to build up. And I lost a lot of confidence.
It was so difficult.
Pardon?
You didn't expect it to be so difficult.
Nah. It was truly something that really challenged me mentally, physically, just like, yeah. After every session at college, I was like a mess.
It doesn't come easy, does it?
Pardon?
It doesn't come easy, does it?
No, nothing. I mean, look, and now, I mean, what we're doing now is just, working on the bigger picture with social media and trying to go down different avenues. But no, hairdressing did not come easy to me at all. Color and color palettes did when I sort of got to understand it and levels of depth or levels of lift. But cutting was something I really had to work at. I invested in private education, YouTube, anything I could to become a better hair cutter. And I just worked my way through it until 2013 when I met Lee. And then we started working on these recipes, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm relearning again. This is it all again. So like you guys there who are learning this now, you're starting off way before me. You're like, what, probably about 5 years ahead of where I am in career talk, because I had to retrain again to try and get to understand it a bit more. I hope that makes sense and helps.
Thanks.
Right, so I've just put my guide in. So I used the bridge of the nose. You can see the guide there.
So that bridge of the nose would be like the fringe we cut in the one length above, right?
Yeah. So just rest my finger. Yeah, so it's another twist on that as well, adding a little bit of another recipe in there. Bridge of the nose, and you could see if I put all that fringe in, we'd have a really nice bold fringe. I'm just going to drop this down slightly. See, so here's one side, and then this is where we put our guide straight down the middle. So
exactly the same as you'd do a classic long grade.
Exactly the same. So you can see there's our middle bit. There's our guide, and our guide would normally be at the chin, and that's where we'd get that real sort of cascade in layers and perfect symmetry. But look how short we've gone. But this is because we want to create weight through this top area, and we want to be removing it from this bottom piece, just so it like the wolf, just loads of volume and body here, and then just tapers out. So I'm going to turn this so you can see what I do. So you can see my guide? No.
Yeah. You can see that.
You could see that.
Yeah.
I'll do that again then from there. See. So there's my guide.
See that, yeah.
And then we've got our 45 degree, which is our finger angle and from the head. And then rather than cutting it blunt as we would, we're just going to point cut into there. So we've got more of a textured line. And I'll show you. So it's more of like a textured line. So point cutting, that's what we would be doing. And creating that soft line. And then like the normal recipe, what we're going to do is come straight through, and everything is elevated over that middle parting. So from the front.
When you're looking for that middle now, what would your other reference be? Just to check you was bang in the middle.
The parting.
Parting, would there be any other reference?
The mirror, the guide.
Yeah. Would you use your nose as well, Paul?
Could use the nose, yeah.
Yeah.
So there, if we get that there, pop the comb there.
Yeah.
It's hitting
So
that point.
a few different guides there, aren't there?
Yeah. I'm just going to do that so you can see what I'm doing from the front. I'll turn to the side. So still 45 degrees as we travel up.
Laura asks, how did you get on with your first experience of the long grad, Paul?
Well, it was different. Different, Laura. Is it Laura? Yeah. Yeah, different to what I was normally used to. How I did a long grad before. I was one of those stylists that was always trying to get that perfect symmetry. And I'll be like this, and I'll be like this, and then I'll be back in there, and then I'll be sort of lifting this up and chipping pieces through. Whereas with this, you can already see it forming. And the first time I did it, I was just blown away by how symmetrical it was.
It really is a classic, and it's a winner. How do you got a question here from Tracy? She says, how do you deal with a difficult customer that wants a cut or something else that may not be realistic for them?
Realistic as in the sense of unachievable, or you don't think it's going to suit them?
Yeah, both.
Both. So
is it the same thing or not?
No, because unrealistic, if they haven't got enough hair, or if the hair's too fine, if the hair's too thick, the hair's too curly, if their colour's too dark, or think factors like that for things. If you're, well, I want it. That client, well, I want it, and then coming across and explaining. But something we're going to talk about today is consultation, and I'll let Lee lead into it. But just having a really strong consultation, really sort of outlining, getting some inspirational pictures from them, what they're looking for, but then also just really assessing their hair and not letting it get to that point. And I know it's difficult. I know people can be really fussy. But something that I always find that shuts it all down is if you just come across as really professional and you've got the knowledge there to say, look, that isn't really going to work, but I tell you what will work, and give them another option, because we're not in the industry of saying no. As soon as we don't want to say no, and as soon as we say no, you've got that sort of barrier up already with a client, and they're thinking, well, I want it. But if you can sort of a really good way to come across and just say, look, your hair is a lot thinner than what the picture you've brought in or the inspiration you've brought in, but I've got a great idea for, look, that haircut's got loads of layers. I wouldn't necessarily put loads of layers in your hair because we don't want to lose density, do we? And then you get them to agree. So it's like you keep asking the question, but backing it up with your knowledge. So you don't really want to lose the length through here, do you? You don't want it to be thin on the bottom. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, cool. But what you do want is layers. Yeah. Okay. So I can create something similar, but that will work better for you, because when it comes to you at home trying to blow dry and create this look that's in the picture, you can have a nightmare. I can show you the products and everything and how to blow dry and if we're going to straighten or tong. But if I give you your own version of this, is that all right? And then you get them to agree. And it's like, right. So instead of all of these layers that I'm putting in today, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work around the top section, the internal of the hair. And then we might just layer it differently and then show them. Say, look, you've still got your layers, but you've kept all that density down the bottom. And then the other
options, really.
Yeah.
If you're going to say that something isn't suitable for any reason, it's about being professional, about being kind, and just giving them other options and possibilities.
Yeah. It's staying clued up with trends and that sort of thing, that you can offer them an alternative, because that's what they're looking for. They're coming to you as a professional. And if you just go, oh yeah, it's nice, won't really work on you, they're thinking, well, why? I've got hair. Why won't it? And if it's just sort of shut down at that point, but if you come back with a trend that will, look, you don't want that sort of trend, because your hair is really thick. If we take those layers really short, like that person, that picture, you're going to end up with hair like really hard to style. I think rather than going that short, because your hair type, I think if we were to go more sort of that length, and then when it falls, you're going to have these layers easier to deal with. Because if you had these and your hair then curls, you'd be ending up like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just
very nicely on, because Laura said, how do you achieve the perfect consultation?
Yeah. So this is a big thing for me. And I really felt that consultations got watered down over the years, to the point where people would sort of barely walk into the salon and their bum would hardly touch the chair and they're already in the basin having their hair shampooed. Or there was a thing on Facebook the other day. Somebody said, oh, what do you do when you've already mixed up your color for a client and they no show? Do you charge them? And I'm like, what? Who mixes color before their client's even in the salon? So a perfect consultation is no longer than what, 7 to 12 minutes, but you want to have real insight into their life. It's not okay. You want, as a professional, you're looking at their hair and you can already sort of see what curl pattern it is. Is it smooth? Is it frizzy? How long it is? What color it is? So you don't really need to, and they know what color hair they've got and that sort of thing. You really want to find out about them during a consultation, about their lifestyle, about their maintenance, products they use, but also wearability. And it's something that I just want to find out as much about them as an individual as possible. And then when it comes to talking about hair, it's sort of like the method that Lee uses in the, well, that we all use. It's like, that's a great question. Thank you for the question. And you want to be sort of instilling confidence with them. But one thing that I use is I just try and get them to agree with everything along the way and nod. And when we're discussing sort of looks, and it's like, would you be able to do that as like blow drying and then get them to agree. And then say we're putting a fringe in. I'll stop here. And then say we're putting a fringe in and we're putting layers in, but we're not touching the length. And then if at any part of the consultation they say, so I would then follow up with, right, so today we're putting a fringe in, we're going to be putting some layers in, but we're not touching the length. And they're like, actually, can I have a side fringe instead rather than a full fringe? And then I would go right back to the beginning of the hair consultation and be like, right, so today we're going to be putting in a fringe, but a side fringe. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a side fringe and we're putting in layers and we're still not going to take anything off the length, are we? We're just going to maintain. Well, I'd quite like a bit off the length. Okay, what are we thinking about the length? About an inch? Okay, cool. So we're going to be putting in a side fringe, a couple of layers, putting in layers, and we're going to be taking about an inch off of the length. Is that all right? And then as soon as they're sort of acknowledged, and then it's a verbal agreement, I think that takes all the pressure off of everything.
But tell me this, Paul. How important do you think using images is when you're doing a consultation?
Massive. I think it's something a lot of my clients as well, they go, oh God, you're going to cringe at this. And it's like, oh, what? I've got a picture, but there's nothing better.
So do you encourage clients to get out pictures?
Oh, I do, yeah.
Do you show them pictures? Like when you're having a consultation with them, would you go through, Google and show examples?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I would be going through Google, and for a reference as well. If we don't really know where the client wants to go, I'd say to all my team, like, we've all got smartphones. It's like, jump on Google, type in shag, type in wolf cut, type in blonde, type in, I mean, how many different reds are there? Someone says, oh, I want to go red. Oh, okay. Do you want to go like ruby red, pillar box, like post box red? Do you want to go brown red? So if we can start getting pictures and then they go, oh, actually, I like that, but I'd love some of that in there. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So that's more of like a mahogany red to them. And then we're going to pop some like real sort of intense red coppers in there to accentuate it. And yeah, so picture wise, that's part of the agreement process in a consultation. Does that make sense? It
does make sense. Amber says, have you ever failed to meet a client's expectations? So if you go through that whole consultation process, then at the end, it hasn't met their expectations. Has that happened to you? What do you do when that happens?
Yeah. I mean, very early on in my career, like I said earlier, you're a yes person. You don't want to be saying no. You want to be making clients feel great. And I was at a point, someone would come in and say, I want to hit that blonde today, being level 4. I want platinum. Yeah. I look amazing on you. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm going to tone it with this and we'll create like a real nice ice blonde. First time. Lift it. What is that going to lift to? At best, with one process, it's going to lift to a level 9 if it's virgin. Still not platinum. So you're going to have to bleach it again. But early on in your career, just don't overpromise, underpromise and overdeliver. That's the key to it. If you're underpromising, saying like that picture looks incredible today, I don't think we're really going to hit the platinum, but we're going to hit a real nice blonde, and something that is going to work for your skin tone or eye color is more like a beige blonde today, because beige has a little bit more sort of violet in there. So when it comes to next time we're going to lift it out, it will give us a bit more play and a little bit more coolness of the yellow to then hit that platinum. Does that sound okay? And it's like, oh yeah, no problem. But if you say at the beginning, yeah.
So just recap on this, Paul. So where are you now with it?
So I'm on that side there, the last piece, and we're just elevating up to the parting. And rather than having a blunt line, I've still got a guide. You can see my guide there.
Yeah.
With that hair there. And then 45 degree, and then we're just point cutting.
So you get a more diffused edge on the line, or what line?
Yeah, so look, there's the line there. We've got much more of a diffused line, like Lee says. And then you can see that shape through there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we've lost, if we comb that away, we've lost that in there, which could be interpreted as a bit like a mullet as such, but we've kept all that strength as well through here. And then you can see it just starts to, the density just starts to be lost down those mid-lengths to ends that give us that real texture there.
Hello, Sam Morgan. Ellie says, did your career path go the way you wanted it to?
To be honest, it's I didn't really know what to expect. I knew one day I wanted to meet Lee. That was it. I wanted to.
Lee can't get away from me.
No, when I seen Lee on TV and I thought, oh,
sick of me now, aren't you, mate? Sick of me.
No. Yeah, when I seen Lee on TV, I thought, right, I want to meet him. That was one thing. That was a goal. And I want to have a salon. That was another goal. And then every single year snowballed. So in my first year of owning a salon, and then I opened another. And then the third year I opened a salon, I met Lee. Well, actually, no, I met Lee before I opened a salon, but it was on an awards. So Lee presented me my first award and then my second award. And then Lee came to my salon in 2013. And then I had 3 salons then. 2014, we started working on this, LSE. And then 2015, I opened a 4th salon. And then after that, I just moved salons, got bigger. And then, yeah, artistic team. I didn't really know where I wanted to go with an artistic team as such. I knew it would be quite cool to be up on stage, but I wasn't confident at all. I was really shy. Yeah. It just,
well, you certainly don't seem shy now, mate. How did you overcome that shyness?
This job. So I had one of my friends from school. Well, I went nursery with her. Had her in on Friday, and she was telling my team, because we were talking about parties at school and everything. And I said, "Oh, I didn't go, did I?" She was like, "No, because you were really shy." Like, I wouldn't go anywhere. I was just like a real shy little kid, and she's like, "I can't believe you now. From where you were at school, you wouldn't say boo to a ghost or like anything." And then I got into hair, and then I just realized if I want to have a successful career, I've got to get over this shyness. I've got to push myself out of this comfort zone and start to talk to people. And now I don't shut up. It's just it was hair really brought it out of me. Talking to clients and having to come across really professional as a job and trying to have just create a brand. I think I had to give off a vibe to get people wanting to come and work with you as well, and for brands wanting to work with you. Like if I was shy, I remember the first job I applied for just in a shop. Rang them up, really cool clothes shop, and I said to them, "Oh, I see you've got a vacancy," and they said, "Yeah," and they said, "Oh, can you tell us about yourself?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What would you like to know?" She's like, "Just tell me about yourself." And I said this, "Oh, my name's Paul. I'm really shy. I've never worked in a shop before." And she was like, "Oh, okay, we'll get back to you." And that's these things that I remember. That's like, oh my God, I just needed to push myself to just be a bit more open, maybe. But hair.
It's really brought you out of your shell then.
What brought me out of my shell?
I said it has brought you out of your shell here. Paul, before you get onto the back, would you just explain to everyone what you have done there? Because you've done a section, you've changed that section, that vertical section, haven't you?
Yep. So where we sectioned off, it was behind the ear, wasn't it, guys? So it was there where my comb is, if you can see. And then what I did, so we've got our guides from the front. I'll put it back in so you can see. So there. And then all I did was come down through our front section. And then I brought that back. And the reason for that is, like the original recipe, I need a guide. So there's my guide. And if you want to see the length, there's the length. So now what we need to do is we need to connect that. And then we're going to use our fingers at a 45-degree angle. And we're just going to be elevating over to that middle parting. I've still got to put the guide in. So there'll be a guide down there. And then all of this will be brought up over that parting as we did at the front. But there's none of that. It's just straight to the ceiling. And then we change the angle with our fingers. So rather than not straight, it's just there. Is that okay?
That's great. We've got hello from NPTC from Group B. Hello, Kelly, and Group B.
Right, so I'm just going to put my guide in. So middle back section. This is just straight down the middle, guys, at the back. Straight down there. And I'll turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. So we're looking for our guide. You can see it's just popped up there. That little bit of hair there just popped up. So I'm just going to change my finger angle. And then there it is. There's my guide at the front. And then again, we're going to point cut.
Still going that 45-degree angle.
Still going that 45-degree angle.
How long did it take you to do your first haircut, Paul? And what cut did you do from Tracy Richardson?
Great question. Great question. It's one that is ingrained in my mind because it was terrible. So first haircut I did was a graduated bob on a young girl, and she came in with hair down to her calves. It seemed like probably wasn't, probably down to like middle of her back, but it was long. And I remember being like, "Oh my God, I've never done this haircut." But my college tutor came over and helped me and told me where I was going to start and everything, and she assisted me all the way through. But her mum was just in my ear all the way through it, saying, "God, you shouldn't be cutting hair. You're taking ages." It took me 3 hours to cut a graduated bob, my first ever haircut on a person, and that was my full time at college lesson, being that time. But her mum was just in my ear, and it was my tutor that came over and said, like, if you wanted it done in an hour, you needed to go to a salon. These guys are training. And the haircut was £4. And that's why I remember that so vividly.
Knocked your confidence.
Massively. I thought, oh God, like I was even apologizing through it. I'm really sorry it's taken me so long, because I knew that salons didn't take that amount of time to do these haircuts, but that's what I was training to do. And I thought, God, should I be at that level now?
So tell me this, Paul, being a salon owner,
Yeah,
and you have apprentices that go through your system and they then come onto the salon floor.
yeah.
And when someone first comes onto the salon floor, they're not going to be as experienced as you.
No.
How long do you expect them to do a cutting?
Hour and a half.
Right, so you give them a bit of time then.
Bit of time, yeah. Bit of time. Hour and a half when they're sort of training. And then it goes down to hour and 15. I mean, we're sitting at an hour and 15 at the minute for haircuts because of COVID. So it's quite nice. You think that, but although you think you've got a lot of time, you haven't, because we've still got to maintain all the cleanliness. We've got to be cleaning our stations, sanitizing all of our tools. And that's all taking that extra sort of 15 minutes as well within the salon. So we've all got an hour and 15 at the minute. Unless it's somebody you think you can do a bit quicker, but COVID has added this sort of service time to
Sam Morgan, one of our fantastic college trainers.
Yeah.
Sam, again, what's your favourite cut, Paul?
What, LSE?
In general, what's your favourite cut and what's your favourite LSE one?
LSE is this long grad. My favourite haircut of the minute are bobs. I absolutely love bobs.
One length?
Yeah, one length, graduated, textured, asymmetric, anything really.
A lot of people having bobs.
Pardon?
A lot of people having bobs.
Yeah. There are a lot of people cutting all their hair off and having a bob. Oh yeah, so a bit more now. I suppose they've had that long length since lockdown, and a lot of people kept it. But we're seeing a lot of stuff now that people are wanting it cut off. So I think we're doing a lot more bobs at the minute in salon.
Is bobs as short as people are going at the moment?
No, pixies. Pixies are big.
Pixies as well.
Yeah, pixies are
uniform layer.
Yeah, and that's it. And that, like, where people like when we qualify and we get onto the salon floor, we're petrified of somebody coming in and requesting something that we don't know. But you, like, with the toolkit that LSE gives you, it's the toolkit for every single haircut that comes in the salon. I mean, this haircut now is a wolf cut that's only really become popular recently, and we're doing it with the long grad. We're just changing it slightly. Whereas someone comes in with a pixie, we've got the uniform layer. We could even put in the graduated bob on one side to make it asymmetric. As long as we connect it at the back, you've got a real nice tight section, say on the left-hand side. And then where we do our graduated bob, you could get that just to melt through and come a little bit longer on the other side. It's just a case of mashing them together to create these looks. And that's where everything comes from.
Amber says, have you ever cut someone's hair too short when doing a long graduation?
No. And the reason for that is because my starting point is at the front in their face. So instantly I can see where we're going to start. Because if I'm taking a long grad and I cut it too short, you can instantly see it. And the client can see it. And I think the great thing about the long grad LSE recipe is that we can clarify with the client. We can say, how's that length for you? That's going to be your shortest part of your haircut. Is that sitting all right? It won't get in your eyes. It's not too short. It's not too long, is it? No, it's great. Okay, cool. Everything from there, you're going to be sound because that's the shortest part. Everything else is going to be longer.
Good question from Bon, another one of our fantastic college trainers in Chichester. Question for both of us: If you was to advise a student going into a trade test in a salon, what haircut would you recommend that they demonstrate to a potential employer?
A graduated bob for me. graduate bob, I think it's so technical, and it gives you a lot of scope into understanding where they are as a hairdresser. Like there's graduation involved, there's over direction involved, there's sort of maintaining weight at the bottom, there's the sort of precisionness of having a bob. So for that haircut, there's a lot of stuff happening. What would you say?
I'm just going to run a little competition in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to give someone a goodie bag of products. I know that I've got to send 2 to Chichester, which I'm wrapping up tomorrow, and they'll be on your way, guys. Quick question. How many countries is Lee Stafford sold in at the moment? How many countries? Right question gets a goodie bag of Lee Stafford products sent out to them in tomorrow's post.
They've got to be very up to date to know that.
Yeah, I think the graduated bob is a good one because it does show off a lot of skill, doesn't it? Like you said, it's still a very current kind of look and shows off skill.
Yeah, there we go. That is, you can see there. Can you see how it tapers in? So you got the weight in there, and it just tapers down in an angle. You can see it better through there and through there. But
what about the very front, Paul? You put that little section in, didn't you?
Yeah.
Initially, have you blended that in at all, or is everything just pulled up and cut?
Pulled up and cut.
There would be no checking in now.
There would be refining. So, but if you look at that, we get that texture built in there just with a bit of product, or we could get a bit of salt spray. We could let it dry off naturally. But you've just got loads.
Do you finger dry something in your salon these days, Paul?
Yeah, quite a bit. Especially with how texture is at the minute. I mean, I finger dried this at the beginning.
Yeah.
This was finger dried just through all that top piece. And then these are these little no mark clips, if you've seen them. So these are a big thing for me at the minute with styling hair. So today what I did with this, I just finger dried all of this just to add a bit of texture in there. And then, at college we have to do what is it, like pin curls. So what I did, let's move her out of the way. So to create that sort of movement of fringe, I basically got this here when it was warm, and then just twisted it on itself. So we're creating a bit of a pin curl, and then I got that and just set that in there. So we've created like a little pin curl. And then what that will do, once you pull that out, see the shape it gives? So I finger dried this on top today just to give flatness, because I didn't want to get a load of volume, because we were building up volume with the haircut. This is where all the layers are in here. You can see they just explode. As soon as you open all that up, let's get it straight. See all of those layers in there? So I didn't want that, because we've got it already in there, all that bulk and that volume. So just finger dried it down. It's nice and smooth, and then did that with the fringe. Just pin that out of the way, let it cool down, and then that gave us that really nice shape of fringe.
Very nice. How long would that take you to do in the salon normally, that cut? Someone came in, busy Saturday. How quick could you do that?
Well, I did this today. I just, when I come to the salon earlier, I did this haircut in probably 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes. The haircut took me
with the cut as well.
With the cut took me 20 minutes, if that.
So with the blow dry, sorry.
Yeah, because I just finger dried it. Just blasted it, finger dried it, and then what I did here was just get straighteners once it was dry, and then just did like a little sort of flat wrap, straighten, and it gave us that flat curl.
What wouldn't you advise to use a finger drying technique, what kind of hair wouldn't it be suitable for, do you think?
If you wanted to get long and smooth, or if you're wanting to get loads of volume. So pixie cuts, perfect. If you've got short little bobs, perfect. Just get your fingers in there, just dry it off. Because don't forget, you can finger dry it all and then get a brush and then just polish. Just polish it off, smooth it through, or you can get your irons, get your tong out and you can start to tong. But anything you're wanting to create loads of smoothness with, you won't get it with a finger dry because you need that tension in there to pull it and to get the cuticle sitting nice and flat. And if you want to get a nice bouncy blow dry like the LSE recipe, you need a round brush for that, because there's no way really you could finger dry it and wrap it. I mean, you could dry the hair. You could get a section like that, really dry it and dry it with your fingers, and then you could just wrap it, pin it, and you'd get much more of like a textured sort of big and bouncy. But it would just take a lot of time.
And what texture wouldn't that haircut suit, Paul? Is there any haircut could you do that on really curly?
You could do it on really curly. There's just one thing you'd have to take into account, and that's the curl pattern. So whereas that's sitting at that length, if we were going to lose 2 inches of that because of the curl, you'd then be ending up with a curl sitting there. So if we're going to lose 2 inches, we'd probably cut that to there. And then when it curls, it will just sit really nice through there. One that I would just look at someone's styling, and if they've got really frizzy hair, they don't really do anything to their hair, and it's really frizzy, then I wouldn't really recommend it, because it would just, where the layers are sitting here, it could just end up looking a little bit messy. But there's not a lot of styling. I mean, there's a bit of styling with this, but I've got clients who come in, they want something really easy. They want a lot of volume, but natural volume. That's the haircut for them, because you're taking away all of that styling need around here, but then you're giving them all that volume and texture and everything through there. So it's a winner.
It's definitely got a kind of 70s, 80s rock vibe, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
It's got a real Stevie Nicks feeling to it as well, isn't it? Do you remember Stevie Nicks?
No, I don't.
She's an old rocker.
Oh, right, yeah.
Definitely got that vibe to it.
But yeah, it's just a really cool haircut. I wanted to bring you it today to basically show you that our long graduation can give you something that is like super bang on trend. Yeah.
And all you've done really, you've used the classic technique, taken it a bit shorter, point cut it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. So you ended up just a bit more frayed.
What does everyone think, guys? Are you liking this look? Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Show us some love if you like it, with some heart emojis. I think it looks bang on, mate. It looks really, really good, doesn't it? I mean, and you could imagine, and it's quite ageless as well. I mean, I could imagine a 16-year-old girl wearing that, or a 60-year-old woman.
Yeah. And they both just rock it, because the thing is, because it is ageless, it would be a thing of like the younger one would probably wear it more like that, a bit more sort of really heavily styled. And then someone else would probably wear it a bit more like that, get a bit of mousse in there, and then you're ready to go.
Looks great, mate. Looks really good. We're getting lots of positivity, mate, coming your way. So what we got here? Oh yeah, it's all coming in. I love this cut so much. Hearts.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, mate. And like you say, just a nice little twist on the recipe.
Tiny twist. I mean, normally I do something a bit more, don't I?
Yeah, no, but sometimes less is more, right? I mean, that looks. The thing I like about that, it's very commercial as well. Again.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you know, and the product you use, how you dress it out. I mean, like you said, if you finger dried it and used a load of sea salt spray, I mean, it would be really big and really rocky. Or you could blow dry it out with a round brush, and it could look really glamorous.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, it is. It's bang on trend, bang on salon. If you went into your salon tomorrow with a client who wanted a wolf cut and you did that, they would be over the moon.
Yeah, no, it looks great, mate. Winner of the competition, It's 18 countries the Lee Stafford brand is in at the moment. So that's Alex Taylor. If you just get your college trainer to send me an email, letting me know where I need to send the products. Thanks again, Paul. Brilliant demonstration, like normal. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful week. Be kind to one another. Practice the recipe that you saw Paul do today. And if you do try it, which you should do, then please just send us a message, send us an image, send Paul an image, send me an image. You can always come back and watch these videos again and again. So if you have someone come in or you do someone's hair and you think, oh, no, I could use Paul's little here, then just come back and watch it again. All right, Paul, nice one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you all soon. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.